What's going on, everybody? It's Kamdorian. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking on this video. I appreciate you. We are on the road. Today I want to talk to you guys about how I got into riding and how did Kamdorian get a motorcycle. I want to talk to you guys about my journey in riding. How did I start out riding? What was the first bike I rode? All that fun stuff. So it all started back in high school, which was about, I guess, like 19 years ago, almost. 2002 time frame. So yeah, about 19 years, 18 years, something like that. One of my best friends at the time, he had a dirt bike and a mini bike, and he would bring it over. It was a Yamaha 125 TT, small little dirt bike, great for beginners, really lightweight. And he would bring it over and he'd take me to some of the trails near my house, and he literally just taught me how to ride. I already knew how to ride a bicycle, so balance wasn't the issue. And I always, had that need for speed, I guess. Always enjoyed going fast in cars and roller coasters, just in life, I guess. And so, I didn't have any issues with the balance. It was really just learning how to manipulate the throttle, the brake levers, which is pretty much the same as a bicycle, so nothing new there. But the biggest thing was learning how to use the clutch and the shifter. So really learning about that friction zone, when to change gears, when to downshift, when to upshift, all that stuff. And I literally learned on a dirt bike just in trails in the backwoods. And I loved it. It was a ton of fun. I always wished I had a dirt bike of my own at that time, but I just couldn't get one. And then so I went through high school, rode the dirt bike once in a while, and then that was pretty much it. Didn't ride any kind of motorcycle after that for, I guess, 16, 17 years. And about now 2 years ago, I went to Paris with my wife because she had a work trip, and I just joined along to, check out Paris. And they have this famous street there, this market street. I forget what it's called, but they have literally every motorcycle brand, there in terms of showrooms. So, they have like Kawasaki, Honda, Triumph, everything, Yamaha, Harley, just every single motorcycle brand you can think of. They had a showroom just lined up in a row. So, I got that itch, like, wow, these bikes look so beautiful. And I just sat on them all, just kind of brought me back to that feeling of riding that dirt bike and how it, how much I enjoyed it. And then that was it. After that, I went home or back to the hotel and signed up for the Motorcycle Safety Foundation training course. Took the course when I got back from Paris. It was a 2-day course over the weekend. And I highly recommend taking that course if you are thinking about getting into riding, just because they teach you everything you need to know how to ride. They teach you book related stuff in terms of some of the laws on the road, and just tips and tricks on how to be a better rider and always thinking about safety first. And yeah, it was a 2-day course. I think it was about $300 or $350, so it's definitely worth it. And then the really good thing is, after you take that course, you just take the certificate to the DMV and fill out some paperwork, and they give you your motorcycle license, which is just like a little M that they write on the license. At least that's how it is in New Jersey. So that means you have a motorcycle license, essentially. So then it was time to buy a bike, obviously. And at that point I've only ridden the 125cc Yamaha dirt bike, and then the 250cc, slightly bigger engine but still very small, lightweight bike that they give you at the MSF training course to learn on. And that was a Honda 250, Honda Rebel 250. So, you know, I thought, okay, maybe I should stick to a, you know, small engine bike that's lightweight and not too much power, just because I'm still a beginner. So then I found CSC motorcycles, and I have another video on that bike, why I think it is probably one of the best beginner bikes for a low budget. It's only about, you know, less than $3 grand. So yeah, I ordered that bike online. It literally got shipped to my house in a box, and I unboxed it, and then I just started riding. So I used that bike to really learn how to ride on the streets. You know, in the MSF training course, they don't teach you literally how to ride on the road, right? They teach you how to ride in a parking lot, and they create these scenarios that would kind of mimic what it's like to ride on the road. But obviously nothing is like riding on the road except for riding on the road. So got the 250cc, the CSC SG250 San Gabriel, and I just started riding. So obviously I stuck to local roads, didn't really go on the highway or anything like that, and after a month I basically mastered that bike. So I kind of got bored of it. As I said in that video on that bike, you know, it's a really small engine. The top speed is about 55-60 miles an hour, and even at that top speed it is very buzzy and vibrates a lot, so it's not really that comfortable. So yeah, I just kind of got bored of that bike in about a month. So I decided it's time to get a bigger bike, and I liked cruisers. Obviously wasn't going to go towards a sport bike, and I found a used 2005 Honda Shadow Spirit 750. It was a really nice blue color. I love the color blue, so I really wanted that. And then I bought it used, and you know, that was a pretty big step up from the CSC 250 bike in terms of weight and engine size. And it was a V twin. You know, I had that nice Vance & Hines chromed out exhaust with a beautiful exhaust note. Still miss that exhaust note sometimes, because it was like literally sounded like a Harley. You know, you sound like a typical Harley, that machine gun brrr, like rumble, which unfortunately this Vulcan 650 doesn't have, but it does have a nice rumble, just not that Harley rumble. Anyway, so yeah, I got that bike, rode it. You know, obviously that one is a full size basically bike. Still a beginner bike, but just much bigger, heavier. It was about 500 and maybe 20 or 30 pounds wet. You know, going from a CSG 250 small little bike that was like, I don't know, maybe it's like 280 pounds wet, to a 530 pound bike. So that was a pretty big jump in size and weight. So rode that bike for about a year and a half. It was a great bike. It was just kind of older, you know. It was a 2005, so you know, didn't really have that many bells and whistles. You know, the gauge cluster was kind of just basic. It was, you know, analog. There's no gear indicator. The fuel gauge was just very like basic, where it only comes on when you're pretty much almost out of fuel. It was a carbureted bike, so it had a stopcock. So, you know, you have to turn that stopcock on and off to basically have fuel delivered to the engine. And it had a reserve as well. So, you know, it was a good bike to learn on. It did also have some weird issues with the shifter, where it was like sometimes you wouldn't really tell if the gear shifted, or it was just a sticky shifter, I think. You know, it did vibrate a little bit at higher speeds. You know, at like 60, 70 miles an hour, it would kind of be vibrating a little bit. It's not as comfortable. And the other thing was the riding position was a little bit extended for me, because I'm a little shorter. I'm only 5'5", and my arms aren't that long, so I did feel like I was kind of leaning forward a little bit on that bike. So long story short, sold that bike last December-ish, and the hunt was on for a Vulcan 650. You know, ever since I found this bike online and just watched a bunch of YouTube videos on people that owned it, I just really wanted it, because it was a cruiser. It looked amazing in terms of aesthetics, and the performance. So as I mentioned many times, it's probably one of the fastest cruisers in its size range for being a 650. You know, 0 to 60 time is like 4.2 seconds or something like that. Ridiculous. So, you know, it was like a sports bike in terms of performance, but the comfort of a cruiser. You know, it's exactly what I was looking for. So, you know, sold my last bike in December last year, and then luckily, I think around April or March of this year, I was on Facebook Marketplace looking for the bike, and I saw that TLY Rider had listed it for sale. So I jumped on that opportunity immediately. I went over to his place, and I bought it from him outright that same day, because I was just loved the bike. And that's where we are today. A happy Vulcan 650 owner. I would never sell this bike. This bike is gonna be with me forever. And yeah, haven't looked back since. Love riding. One of the great things about riding is obviously just getting on the open road, exploring, going on an adventure. You know, I don't have any GPS or anything on. I know these roads because I've ridden them many times already, but you know, you just kind of go where the road takes you without any real destination in mind. You're just enjoying the scenery, enjoying the engine, enjoying the sound of the exhaust, enjoying the acceleration. It's just enjoying everything. And that's what I really love about riding. The other thing I love is the sense of brotherhood and sisterhood you get with other riders, and you know, not even people that you're riding with, just when you pass by a rider, someone that's on a bike, you know, you always give the head nod or the, you know, the peace sign or the thumbs up. And it's kind of just like you're communicating with other riders, like, what's up, how's it going, you're out here, we're out here, we're riding, enjoy your day, you know, that kind of thing. Yep, that acceleration and that exhaust sound never gets old. But yeah, so I love riding. Really happy that I took the plunge, did the training course, got my bikes. So I still have the SG250. I'm never gonna sell that one either, just because it's a great learning bike, great beginner bike. You know, if someone wants to learn, if my wife wants to learn, which she said she does. And it is a fun bike to just kind of throw around once in a while. Just go out there, not worry about anything, and just, it's like a little toy bike kind of. And yeah, I'm not gonna sell that bike either. So that's my journey, folks. Let me know in the comments below what your journey is or was. And yeah, let's keep the conversation going. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that like button, give it a nice thumbs up. Also, please subscribe for more videos. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace!